Hi, this is Joanne Klepal with Live Your Yellow Brick Road, and today we're going to talk about why change is so hard. In the previous video, Why Change is So Hard Part 1, you learned how our mind consists of a user, your conscious, and software, your subconscious. And change is hard when our conscious and our subconscious are not aligned or in rapport with one another. So for example, we used if you've ever wanted to lose 10 pounds, but your behavior, which is driven subconsciously, doesn't align with a healthy exercise regime or healthy portion control, when you know consciously it's needed to be at a healthy weight. So when our conscious and our subconscious are misaligned, our software program or operating system needs updating. So there are approximately 8 billion humans on Earth, and each one of us has our very own unique software. So let's talk about how our software, subconscious, is programmed. So there is a Jesuit saying that says, "Give me the child until 7, and I'll give you the man." Now, have you ever wondered what that really meant? Our subconscious begins its programming from the time we're born. Now, of course, depending on your belief system, that programming can begin before we're born or even when we're in the womb. So for the sake of simplicity, we're just going to focus on the subconscious programming from the time of birth. So there are four primary periods in life which our values and beliefs are formed. The first is the imprint period, which is from the time of our birth until about the age of 7 years old. And during this time, the mind absorbs everything like a sponge. It has no filters, and it hasn't yet developed any critical thinking capabilities. So during these years, the brain is in our brain waves are in a state called theta and alpha, which are similar to being in a meditative, hypnotic, or trance-like state. And this is where our subconscious begins its programming and where we're open to suggestions. We have great imaginations. And I'm sure you've heard that it's an ideal time to learn a language is during this period, these years, and that's because the alpha state is ideal for learning. Now, the imprint period is when your subconscious is heavily programmed and when many of our foundational beliefs and values are formed, especially from those that are close to us, like our parents. Because remember, we're just absorbing, absorbing, absorbing. So, what are some things that can have a lifelong impact due to your subconscious programs? Okay. For example, if a sibling tells you that you're chubby, and you hear that a lot, or you hear that your sister is smarter than you, or you hear that you're a small boy, you're the small one, or you're told that you're always misbehaving, um, or you've got the devil inside of you, or he's the slow one, or she has ADHD, you have ADHD, or you hear sayings such as boys don't cry, kids are here to be seen and not heard, that's not an appropriate behavior for a girl, it takes money to get money, nothing comes easy. There are kids starving in other countries, so eat your food now. And or the money is the root of all evil. You know, I'm sure you're familiar with some of these. Or you've been neglected and not getting the attention from one or the other parent. Or if you're exposed to abusive behavior. So the value and belief systems we absorb, particularly those from our parents. So those are just a few examples. So more often than not, these programs lead to lifelong limiting beliefs, such as I'm not good enough, I'm not worthy, or I'm not deserving, which can impact our behaviors throughout our entire lives. So when our actual behavior contradicts what we consciously say we want, it's because our subconscious programming is driving our behavior based off the programs developed mostly in early childhood. So many years before I actually started doing this work, there were two separate occasions that I remember very clearly. I had observed the actions of two high-level executives in a meeting setting. And at the time, I thought to myself, I can see this person as when they were a 5-year-old child throwing a temper tantrum, because you can visibly see them as that 5-year-old throwing a temper tantrum in that meeting right in front of you. And now I completely understand why. It makes a lot more sense now. So I mentioned earlier that there were primarily 4 imprint periods where we form our values and beliefs throughout our life. So I'm just going to briefly touch on the others. Um, so the second one is between the ages of 8 to 13, which we call the modeling period. And this is, of course, where your critical and analytical thinking is developed. You begin to be influenced by others around you, such as public figures and superheroes. And during the next period, which is the socialization period, from about the ages of 13 to 21, you're actually largely influenced by your peers, and you may even rebel against, your prior programming. If you think about, or if you have teenagers, you'll be familiar with this period, I'm sure. The last period is the business persona, and that goes between the ages of 21 and 35, where you're developing your business values and beliefs. So you can see that how important the imprint period is in programming the subconscious mind, and how the Jesuit saying, give me the child until 7 and I'll give you the man, makes much more sense now, knowing how we're shaped in the first 7 years. And if we don't update our subconscious programs, we become like our mobile phones when the operating system is not updated. We become slow, we become outdated, and we are unable to function effectively. So I'll discuss how we can program our subconscious in an upcoming post. So in the meantime, you can go to liveyouryellowbrickroad.com, liveyouryellowbrickroad.com for more information, or Facebook and Instagram at liveyourybr. So in the meantime, have a wonderful day. Thank you.